From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. As millions across the Southeast deal with the ravaging effects of the destruction left in the wake of Hurricane Helene, it's important to know that even after the immediate flooding threat goes away, residents could face a host of potential health problems from the water and what it leaves behind. Floodwater is more than just rain. It's often contaminated with sewage, bacteria, and chemicals. Sharp metal or glass objects can also hide in the water. Exposure to contaminated floodwater can cause skin irritation, leading to boils or rashes, particularly on parts of the body that have been submerged for any extended period of time. Although brief skin contact with floodwater should not be a problem, if you have a minor cut or a scrape, well, that could be an entry point for harmful bacteria and viruses. Floodwater can carry diseases and can cause stomach problems after people come into contact with contaminated floodwater, or if you eat or drink something that has come into contact with floodwater. Floodwater can contaminate drinking water, especially from private wells. Those wells need to be tested before using if they come into contact with floodwater. If you are staying in a shelter, the CDC recommends that you be extra careful and regularly wash your hands and use alcohol-based hand sanitizer to prevent the spread of disease. Doctors often see more respiratory infections after floodwaters recede, and people are allowed to return to their homes. Contamination from floodwaters and the mold that quickly grows in a warm environment like those in Florida or Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee can exacerbate asthma or trigger allergies. The CDC advises wearing rubber boots and gloves when cleaning up homes and avoiding direct contact with any item that has been in floodwater. Experts also recommend wearing a mask or a respirator. If floodwater entered your home, dry it out as soon as possible to prevent mold. If it has stopped raining, open windows and doors to speed up the process. Now, if you have power, then use a dehumidifier or several of them. Put fans at doors and windows to blow air out rather than inward so it doesn't spread mold. Walls, floors, and anything with a hard surface that has come into contact with floodwater, like appliances, countertops, or children's play areas, well, those need to be cleaned with soap and water and disinfected with a bleach solution. If walls or floors need to be replaced or refinished, the Environmental Protection Agency says everything needs to be thoroughly cleaned and dried to prevent mold growth. Fabrics should be washed in hot water or dry cleaned. Furniture like beds and upholstered sofas and chairs that can be saved should be dried in the sun and then sprayed with disinfectant. Carpets should be steam cleaned. Food and beverages that have come into contact with floodwater should be thrown away. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration suggests that people also throw away prescription drugs, even those that are in their original containers with screw tops, as they may no longer be safe if they come into contact with contaminated water. And yet, the biggest health concern from a flood may be mental. Hurricanes and flooding generate anxiety, depression, and stress. Storms can exacerbate existing mental health problems or lead to new ones. Stress is certainly common during and after any natural disaster. Crying may come easier, sleep may be a challenge, worry or a desire to be alone may be especially strong, thinking may become muddled, and it may be hard to remember things or to listen to people. It might also be hard to accept help. Some may develop problems related to the lingering challenges associated with post-traumatic stress disorder, but the majority of those affected should recover in time. Human nature is resilient, and most people can adapt over time after a disaster. Those who have strong bonds with family, friends, and coworkers tend to recover best, so experts suggest paying close attention to those relationships to help speed recovery. For those with lingering mental challenges, counseling is recommended. The federal government offers a disaster distress helpline to help those struggling with mental health problems resulting from a storm. And that toll-free number, staffed by mental health professionals, is 1-800-985-5999. Studies show that suicide can also be a risk after a natural disaster. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides free emotional support to people in mental health crises and connects them to local resources. The line operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and comprises over 200 local crisis centers across the country. That's all for now. For more stories and regional forecasts, visit AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, including a hurricane tracker, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. And I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.